Video opens with a camera shot of quick flashes of NWABA athletes, and text reading, Supporting Blind Athletes, a guide for volunteers, with NWABA's logo. The three individuals in this video are sitting side by side on stools, with their guide dogs at their feet on a hardwood floor, with a brick wall in the background.
Welcome to our Perspectives on Blindness Etiquette video.
Text appears that reads, Kirsten French, Senior Programs Manager, NWABA.
My name is Kirsten, and I'm about 5 feet tall. I have long brown hair. I'm wearing a light blue t-shirt, and at my feet is my female yellow guide dog, Knightley. And I'll pass it on to my left.
Text appears that reads, Sherry Chauvin, Senior Operations Manager, Nike.
Hi, I'm Sherry Chauvin, and I'm about 5'7". I have brown hair and brown eyes, and at my feet is my yellow Labrador Retriever named Haviland.
Text appears that reads, Lillian Goodman, Payroll Specialist, NWRESD.
Hi, I'm Lillian Goodman. I am about 5'4". I have long reddish-brown hair and blue-green eyes, and at my feet is my guide dog Spinoza, who is a Golden Retriever Lab Cross.
One of the big purposes of this video is to give it to volunteers, camp staff, others who might be engaging with us for the first time. What are some things you wish volunteers would know when they came to an event or anything?
I would say first realize that you're volunteering for an amazing organization. That would be my number one thing I'd like to say.
There's that, yeah.
And just, try to connect. Like Lillian said, approach us. Mm-hmm. We have lots of things to talk about too. And we want to connect as well. We just need that first step sometimes so that we know that you're trying to connect with us. And I think we see people who do that as an ally and, someone that we know that we can trust to talk to, that they're willing to approach us and talk to us. And the other thing is that sometimes people who are blind or visually impaired or any disability really are seen as inspirations, right? When we're just doing our everyday thing, you're so inspirational, and I'm just, walking down the street. It's not really that inspirational. So, appreciate what we're doing as an athlete because we're doing this feat, but not because we're blind. We're doing it because we're talented at whatever it is.
Yes, I would agree. I think for me, what I really want to stress to volunteers, especially, is not to be afraid, not to be intimidated. I feel like a lot of times new volunteers come in and they are, and we're just like everybody else. Our eyes just don't work, and so to just treat us like you would treat anybody else, I think is a big one.
It's always interesting of having conversations sometimes with someone who will say, oh, I waved at you and you didn't wave back, or I thought you were mad at me. You're like, no, actually I didn't see you.
Yeah.
But remembering that it can make a world of difference. I know how happy and engaged I feel when someone comes up and is like, hey, Kirsten, it's so-and-so. Like, great, let's have this conversation and we can continue to move forward in that allyship. It doesn't take much. It's going up to someone, and whether you know them, hey, Sherry, it's Kirsten, and then we can continue that conversation. Or even if it's your first time and you come up and you introduce yourself, hey, I'm Kirsten, and we continue that conversation. Yeah. Hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a volunteer. Have you been here before? Have you done this? Have you done this trail before? We're hiking. Have you hiked this trail before? Talk about the weather. It doesn't have to be anything, but it's that start of that conversation that means a huge amount to help build those connections, because so many connection pieces start with a lot of visual cues of a smile, someone who looks friendly from across the room, or someone who waves at you, someone who made eye contact when you entered the room, might be someone who's sighted, how they start that connection piece. Those pieces are missing for any non-visual person, and they can also be added verbally. They can be made accessible in other ways, and they really mean the world.
it makes us feel included.
Yes.
We're just
Yes.
a part of,
Yes,
Part of the community.
yeah, part of the community.
for sure.
As we wrap up our time together, we want to leave everyone with one thing that they can do that's going to help create a more accessible environment, or one thing that's helpful to keep in mind, whether they are in the community or are at one of our events. What do you think everybody should keep in mind as that one thing that's helpful to remember?
I think for me, I think I've already said this, but to just reiterate that we want to be included, we want to be treated like everybody else. To just consider that when you are approaching someone who's blind, I think is really important.
Yeah, that we want to be included.
Yes.
We want to be approached. We want
Yes.
people
Yes.
to talk to
Yes.
us and not just, ignore. And we just go from there, right?
Yeah.
So build a
Yes.
relationship by trying to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think off of that, in addition to keeping that open-mindedness, being ready to connect, I think also being able to step into someone else's shoes. Some of the best guides I've ever worked with when running, even someone who has never been a running guide before, we are meeting on the starting line, we're going, and that person turns out to be really good. I've asked them of, wow, this is so great. Do you know how to be a running guide? What information are you coming in with? And each time that person's response has been of, no, I'm just thinking of, if I was in that situation, how would I want to be treated? What do I think I would like? And to be able to put yourself in that person's shoes, because as soon as we're able to see each other, whether it's from the lens of vision loss or just anything, when we're able to see someone else who we don't know, whose life looks different than ours, as, hey, what would my life look like if I was that person? How would I want to be treated? What skills do I bring into this? And as soon as we're able to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, all of a sudden, all of those differences start to go away, and we're able to build those connection pieces. It creates a foundation for which to grow off of.
And if you're volunteering, then you must have a passion for what it is that you're
Yes.
volunteering for, and use that as your connection point. too.
Yes.
Yes.
So as we wrap up our time here, we want to leave everyone with that reminder to connect with each other, to stay open-minded, and to remember what brought you here, to help build those bridges and connect and empower everyone to help continue to build a community where everyone's engaged.
Video ends with a camera shot of quick flashes of NWABA athletes and the NWABA logo.